Hello. Excuse me. I'd like to just talk about a bit of an owie that happened this week. Didn't see that one coming. Excuse me. I've had a bit of a chronic fatigue day. Now what happened was I decided to ship up, shape out, get out, excuse me, of this apartment. So put everything into bags and store them safely in storage. Excuse me. But there were a few bits and pieces that I still wanted access to, so they're somewhere else. Then I looked at, I had a very nice set of cutlery, which, excuse me, was handed down to me from family. Let me just, oh, I whacked my elbow about 3 times in the same spot, and I don't even feel like it. Anyway, aches and pains, boring. That's better. Excuse me. Deal with it, Billy. I hope it's not too mumbly for you. And I thought, even when I get new cutlery, well, even when I move on to the next apartment after I've been travelling, I still wouldn't want that cutlery again. And it's a very nice set, very good set, and it has main course forks, slightly smaller dessert forks, dessert spoons, soup spoons, and slightly bigger not serving spoons, but wide, more square or rectangular. Then a whole set of knives, larger knives, then knives ones set down. Then it's got teaspoons, the normal teaspoon shape. Then it's got round teaspoons, which I think are like melon balls. Parma ham with melon balls, but I don't want the Parma ham because it makes the melon balls taste too salt. So, and it's got smaller forks, like the pastry forks. So it's a good set, a full set, interesting set. So I gave that to the friend who, very, very kindly, a friend who I love very dearly, actually. And I think in the past I haven't got any friends. Well, no, I didn't mean I haven't got any friends. It was a relief, actually, that all the friends that I did have buggered off because they weren't good friends. But this friend has been a friend for 30 years. 30 years? 94. 94. 04. 14. 20, 24, 30 years. Oh, we've got something to celebrate, dude up. And some of my best, funniest life experiences have been with this person. And we went to Ibiza for a week. That island has never been the same again. Anywho. This person took me to the gym for the first time in 1994. I've learned, I would say he's my auntie main. I love him dearly. So when I said I haven't got any friends, that was inaccurate. But I was actually also playing along to the isolation techniques that my family bestowed upon me. That made me a hell of a lot stronger than I probably was before. And I thank my family for that. I really, really do. Because it's you that's come off worse from this. And it made me do something that I never would have done, which is start a YouTube channel. I had no desire to start a YouTube channel. I was at the point I hated myself. I hated my look. I hated everything about me because it had been rejected by everybody else. So I turned in on myself and didn't like it. But when you push somebody into a corner so much, it's a little bit like when I was saying when I was beaten up by one of my previous partners, and I found myself curled up into a ball underneath a kitchen table where I had to like a barbecue. There's a table and two benches, and he pulled the bench out and he was kicking my head. Something, a wee small voice cried out to me in my head, went, there aren't any rules here, that you don't have to play by any either. And I didn't. And I got myself up, and I launched myself at him. And I'm glad I didn't find the knife drawer, because who knows? But what I did see was a great big metal vase that I had, that I kept lilies, because I love lilies. And I got it, and I thought, break his nose. I don't know where it came from. It would break his nose, right in the middle of his face. I don't think I broke his nose, but I did knock his 2 front teeth out. Now this might sound very violent, but I had been out for the night. As far as I was concerned, we'd broken up. I'd been out with friends, came back home by myself, but he had smashed my window, got into my apartment and organised for a glazier to come and replace the glass with him on the inside. His name is Dale Foley. He waited for me, he came back, and when I got through the door, he was, all of a sudden, I was like, all of a sudden this baseball bat. Welcome home, Edward. Welcome home, which should have been empty. Anyway, from being in a curled up ball on the floor, I knocked his 2 front teeth out and basically floored him. I launched myself at him. I came out fighting, and I won. I'm not proud of my actions then, but it was survival. And at the end, there was a whole load of water on the floor because of the vase. Water and lilies and him. A lot of blood. I don't... Maybe I hoovered his teeth up so he couldn't have it replaced, but I can't remember that bit. Or maybe let's not reveal all our secrets. But he lay there on the kitchen floor and he smiled. He smiled, he was enjoying it. He liked it. He's now dead, I think. But he enjoyed that. He had this sick smile on his face. And these 2 gummy things with blood coming out. Why did I stay with him? Because then after that, he beat me up in Miami. And we both got arrested. Miami-Dade's finest. Anyway, how did I start this off? Misunderstandings, really, because dear friend has a carer. And I took over a whole load of stuff from my freezer. Because I don't, because when I leave here, I turn the fuses off and I don't want the food go to waste. I took the cutlery. I've given a whole load of clothes. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't really matter. But these are the things that were quoted back at me because the carer. Well, no, I mean, I can understand this being a trigger. So I really want to talk about triggers and misunderstandings. I thought to say thank you because what it turned into, because I was so tired, and I came back here at let's say 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning whilst everyone else was asleep, packed my stuff up and got my stuff out and down the stairs so nobody here would notice. Because I didn't want any questions. Because I've had Scorpio say to me, "Are you in or are you out? What are you doing?" Look, this happened in the summer because I put a load of stuff into storage in the summer. And I said, nobody ever knows. But people are asking whether. I said, oh. I said, well, David, it's always best not to gossip then, isn't it? And just go straight to the horse's mouth. Are you asking me if I'm leaving? And he looked very sheepish, and I didn't answer his question, but I sort of put him in his place. Now, I have to say, it did upset me that I spent a whole load of money on food for those two this week, which I did because I wanted to. I made a whole load of food. I didn't just. I'm not saying I'm the only one that my friend bought a whole load of food as well. Don't get me wrong, he has helped me out too, so that's not the imbalance. I made sort of breakfast, lunch, and dinner one day, and just because I didn't want to feel like I was a burden. But I think what I probably did, and I'd go, yeah, I have a big, a big overdoing gene sometimes, that I might have felt that made that person, let's say the carer, feel displaced. When that carer should have really known, and I think with hindsight they will probably figure out that I meant no harm, because what he said was, you're trying to split me and my friend up. And I thought, well, I didn't even realise that was the basis of your relationship for a start, so that was a bit of an eye-opener. And told me that I was trying to take over by cooking, and so what happened was my friend has qualified for some assistance because of an accident. And so struggles getting in and out of a chair, and an occupational therapist came along, and it was either going to be Friday or it's going to be early next week that a chair arrives and these things are quite bulky, that's got controls on it that can tip him out, if you see what I mean. And I helped with that appointment. I don't want to say, but I helped with what to say and not to play down his needs and what have you, and say, look, actually that would change your life. And this chair is about 5, 6, 7, I don't know the exact, it's between £4,000 and £7,000. Now on Thursday night what happened was I knew that because I've been moving stuff over, I didn't sleep for 3 nights. I sort of had power naps during the day, But whilst I was moving my stuff out, I was thinking, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It's all going to fill out forms for all kinds of other things. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with this apartment, because I think I'm just going to give it a lick of paint and then get some estate agents in who can then let it for me whilst I bugger off around the world. And I realised, I mean, the chair could have arrived on the Friday. Then there was Saturday, Sunday. I was planning to go away for a couple of days. And then obviously there's tomorrow, Monday. And I said to my friend, look, I know how my energy's going at the moment with my chronic fatigue. The lady occupational therapist, who was beautiful, said, you know, clear some space because it's a big unit. It's, you know. And I just thought ahead and I thought, well, I can help here. And I spent about 3-4 hours with my friend because he needed to sit down. I said, what about this? Can that go out? So I was taking stuff down to the rubbish, then condensing other stuff so it would take up less space. It could go into, he's got a lot of storage in his apartment, storage space. So we filled up the storage space with stuff that actually had been sitting there gathering dust for probably years. Disassembled a shelving unit, threw that out because he didn't want it. And he's got this massive mirror, it's probably about 12, if not more, foot mirror that was sitting on against the wall, literally doing nothing. And he said, oh, I always loved it in that corner, it's slightly at an angle, so when you moved in, you just had this, I mean, it's like a Hollywood mansion mirror, it's stunning. I said, come on then, let's get that. So I cleaned all around that back half of the room, put it where it and now what I've noticed is whenever he walks into the room now, instead of sort of, because of the accident, feeling a little bit like, he knows that mirror is going to be there. And my friend used to be on the stage. Very good performer. And he walks into that room up now because he knows as soon as he walks in, he's going to be in this. And just that one little thing, it actually made him stand a little bit taller. And basically everything was put back, but without the crap. But I did move one set of shelves from one end of the room to the other end of the room. So down, as you go through the door, there's a big space there for the new chair. And however the carer and my friend want to play around with it, because it has to go that end of the room and be no radiators, that's up to them. But I thought, I've got time and energy right now to do something so you don't have to think about that, because the carer wasn't showing any inclination to help out. But I thought I could do that. But I got accused of trying to take over, that I was going to move in, that I was trying to split them up for whatever, and that my gift of the cutlery was unwelcome. This is not from my friend, but from the carer. And I have to say, it hurt slightly, but then I thought, he might not be feeling very well, so that's how I palmed it off. And inside I was thinking, you unappreciative little bastard, how dare you fucking talk to me like that. On one occasion, he was a smoker. Then he had a medical thing. He always smoked. Then a medical thing happened, and then the first time I went back into the apartment after the medical thing, I didn't realise he'd given up smoking. But he came storming, how dare you smoke? I'm not. I went, oh, God. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't realise you'd given up, for a start. And B, yes, it's unthinking of me, but you weren't here, so I wasn't thinking of you because you were in your room. So I stubbed it out straight away and said, I won't do it again. You're absolutely right. And nor have I. Until he started smoking again quite recently. And you could smell it in the apartment. And I still didn't have one in the apartment until he came in to talk to me, and we sat down, we had a cigarette together. And I thought, oh, right. And And since then, I only had about 2 or 3 others whilst I was changing the furniture around. Well, not to, moving stuff about. So, but he came in literally fighting words about me doing something that I'd always done. And because he'd made a change, he was gunning for me. And I thought, okay, yes, I know you live here. This is actually, and I thought, I just went higher, and I thought, things are obviously not good. And I said, yes, you're absolutely right. This is your home, and if you start smoking, but did say, this is not the right way to be telling me. I hear your message, but I don't like your delivery, and don't ever shout at me again, sweet cheeks. Didn't quite put it like that, but so when he came in, screaming and shouting at me, I didn't put up with it the second time, so I laid into him. Not laid into him, but I said, don't do that. I said, well, if you misunderstood that, then you're stupid. Not quite in those words, but you must have missed the intent here. And you've missed the power of the gift. This is a gift. I won't be taking them away. Those are yours. And well, they belong to my friend, and it's his home. If he wants them, they stay in the cutlery drawer. It's nothing to do with you. It was a horrible experience. But I've dealt with worse. But I just wanted. There are 2 sides to that. Anybody who thinks that somebody is a soft target because they feel, well, they've somebody who's had death threats in their apartment and things are getting crazy again, could be seen by somebody else as an easy kicking target because shit, he's moved a whole load of stuff out to storage and he wants to keep a bit here. Oh, let's kick your Marsties down because that's the best time to kick somebody. No, that's unforgivable. So if that's what the scenario was, I've had that too many times not to come out winning on that one. Nobody kicks me when they're down anymore, when I'm down anymore, without me saying, you're being a twat, and I'm going to tell you about it. And I don't care if you do live here. I don't care if it is your main residence, if this is where you live, it's not your apartment. And you're on a very good deal here, looking after my friend of 30 years, whatever the basis of your relationship. And actually the gifts to my friend, whose apartment it is. Now, if you're lucky enough to share them, then you're missing the blessing if you're complaining about it. I was so disgusted with his behaviour, I really was. But he's not the brightest button in the box. And he said he wasn't feeling very well. So there you go. But I thought, do I be a good boy like my mother always told me and shut up and be very nice in somebody else's house? No. Nobody talks down to me, wherever the hell I am. Especially if they think I'm an easy kicking target just because I'm in their 4 walls, which don't belong to them. So no. So whatever lessons you want to take from this is just my experience which I'm sharing. You don't have to be anybody's whipping boy, wherever you are. And Pisces, you need to grow up. You really do need to grow up. Because people say that the Sagittarians have a foul temper. You are just a petulant little boy, to be quite honest with you. So let's hope that you do grow a pair sometime soon. And that's the end of this message. With love.